Hello guys and welcome to this Linux tutorial. In this tutorial we have our checkpoint. Okay, so in the upcoming videos, in the upcoming Linux tutorials, we will talk about a whole bunch of things, and that whole bunch of things includes printing, scheduling tasks, computer networking, and building a program from source. And just to note, we won't cover any of those except building a program from source in much detail. The reason is because I either haven't used it as much, which is, for example, the case with scheduling. I never pretty much scheduled anything, but I just want to leave this kind of tidbit of information so you can look it up if you ever need it. Or I just simply felt that some topics weren't that useful. And basically those two are connected, right? Because if I didn't think something was really that useful, I didn't use it as much. And then I had even less of a reason to put it in this course, okay? So the purpose of this course isn't to bog you down with everything that Linux has to offer, but to give you general context. And I know I probably repeated this, I don't know, like maybe 40 or 50 times in this series, or maybe even more, but it's really important to stress this. However, you will gain pointers if you ever need to look at those things, okay? So just to cover what we will cover, we'll talk about printing, we will talk about scheduling, we'll talk about computer networking. Okay, I'll just write networks, okay, networks. This is a W right here. And we will talk about building a program for source. Okay, building from source. Okay, we'll talk about those topics. And again, I think that this building from source, I actually think this is actually really good. I'm really proud of myself for explaining you some things which I don't think you can really get that easily if you're not a software engineer. But especially, like, let's take a look at, for example, this topic, which is networks. Like, dudes, I even had two entire college classes, which barely scratched the surface of computer networks, okay? And so to think that I can teach you everything about networks and everything about network functionality in this course would just be ludicrous, okay? It's just not possible. It's just really not possible. So I'm just going to kind of graze over that and give you kind of pointers for further reading if you ever need to do something with that. Also, scheduling, I never really used it. Printing, I also haven't used it. So again, I'm really going to follow the adage of don't talk about the things you haven't used as much. And yeah, I mean, if I haven't used something as much, I'll just give you some pointers for you to look into yourself if you ever need to. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So feel free to watch this section. I mean, definitely watch this section, but feel free to kind of just watch it and not really pay attention if you are not going to be system administrator. So even if you are a software developer, I highly doubt that you will use the printing functionalities which are accessible through the shell, through the command line, or for example, scheduling. Okay, maybe if you're like the DevOps guy, so there's a DevOps position, so those guys are actually responsible for automation, etc., then you will be using scheduling heavily. However, if you're just a software engineer who uses Linux day to day, or if you are a regular user, you will most likely not need any of these things. Okay, but testing your computer network, is it working properly? Those are the things you will use, and building from source is definitely something that's going to be useful no matter who you are. Okay, so definitely watch through these, pay attention mostly to building from source, and pay attention to networks. But printing and scheduling, you can just kind of gloss over those and not really pay that much attention. And that's also because I won't be talking about them a lot. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you in the next tutorial, and that's it. Talk soon.